Welcome to the SUTV Live post-game show here at Bramall Lane, where it's finished Sheffield United 2, Norwich City 2. Alongside me in the studio, I've got Deane and Kevin Gage. I don't know which one of you chaps wants to go first, but where do you start with summing up that game?
Just amazing. I thought we'd seen everything after Blackpool the other week, and then this one kind of tops it. It was even better. Just thrills and spills all the way through, and I'm quite pleased with that point, to be honest, the way the game's panned out. You know, I didn't see it coming at all, so I'll take the point and happily go home with it. Well,
you said it would be a scoring draw right at the start of the afternoon. Yeah, you were right on the button.
Yeah, but I'm usually completely wrong with my predictions. And I was just saying that to be polite, to be honest. I thought we might struggle today, to be honest. You know, we have no form whatsoever. And I just thought we don't need to play a Norwich side, also out of form, but I thought they might come in and nick something. And the way the first half started, I thought, oh my God, here we go. So just happy, really happy to come away with a point at the end of the day.
I know it's a cliche, but Deane, literally a game of two halves.
Definitely. For me, Norwich were one of the best teams I've seen this season. And the front two, you know, they worked really well together. I thought they controlled us in the first half. They bullied us. They played at their tempo, and they were very good at it. And then, you know, in the second half, I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that, you know, the incident with Grant Hanley and Billy seemed to spark the crowd. You know, that the players suddenly were up for it. Very disappointed from the point of view of, and I made a point before, the attitude of their players, you know, diving and holding, you know, I mean, act like a man, you know, and I think that the problem when you do that is it sends a message out, you know, sends a message out that, you know, you're time wasting, you know, perhaps even the referee got the ump, who, for me, didn't have a good game, but what a game that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you get your money's worth down.
Just a bit.
If you pay your entrance money or your subscription money, you get your money's worth when you follow Sheffield United. It was fantastic entertainment.
Yeah. I wonder if you're a player on the pitch, how do you deal with it? Because, I mean, quite clearly, Dino, you're cutting a very frustrated figure here, and yet you're not involved directly in the game. Gagey, you'll have been involved in games like this as well, no doubt. How do you manage to keep your composure?
Well, some players can't. Some players do get wound up. I mean, I was quite cool, calm and collected, hopefully, on the pitch. You know, I didn't used to get too carried away. That's not to say you're not totally committed, but you need to know when to calm down when everybody else is losing their head. Yeah. You know, you need a few players in the team just to remain a little bit calm and to try and sort things out. Unfortunately, we did that. The game never really boiled over, and we weren't throwing ourselves into tackles and all hell was breaking loose. You know, we had a lot of momentum and we played the game at a good tempo, but we never kind of lost control. I fully agree with what Dino's saying there. I think it's a disgrace when opposition players throw themselves to the ground. And I know for a fact that Dino played with Bassett. I played with Bassett for years, and Graham Taylor. Every team I played for, the manager said, don't do that. Don't throw yourself on the ground. To the extent that don't show the opposition players that you're hurt. You know, if you get a whack on the knee, just get on with it. Just get up and get on with it.
It's for me, it's a reflection of the manager, and you know, I hated it. I mean, I was only managing for 2 years, but I used to get the ump with my players if I felt they were trying to win penalties like that or free kicks. I just think it goes away from what football is about, which is competing.
Okay, fellas, stay right there. Good to get your thoughts. Let's get the thoughts of someone who is involved in the game itself this afternoon. Let's hear from Ollie Norwood. Well, Ollie, for us, that was great entertainment watching from the studio. I imagine it was a little bit more pressurised down on the pitch.
Yeah, it was, especially we give ourselves a mountain to climb at half-time. We give from our point of view, two real poor goals away. Could lose it, should win it at the end. I mean, Ollie's header, is it a good save? I don't know, I haven't seen it again. He seemed very close. He said when he came in the dressing room he should have scored. So there you go, another dull game at Bramall Lane after the last one here as well. So it's positive to take from it. We never give up. We kept going, and I think towards the end they were hanging on, trying to see the game out, and we were pushing, trying to win it. That's how it felt, and just unfortunate not to get that goal at the end.
Take us through what happened in the dressing room at half time, because you say first half, by your standards, was poor. You're 2 down, you're up against it. Came out the second half, a side transformed.
Yeah, obviously words can't be repeated in here. What was said, well, not rightly so. We were poor, and the 2 goals, like I said, summed up the first half. They were really poor goals. I mean, the first one, obviously, Davo thought he had a bit more time. The lad pressed him well, and then the second one's just a big punt up the pitch, 1 ball, and Pookie does as he does, scores goals. But then second half we come out, we played forward a lot more, turned them round, got in their half, a bit more aggressive, left a bit on them a little bit, and you could see they were shrinking a little bit. I think the lad in the middle kept throwing himself on the floor, which was a bit embarrassing really. They were playing for time really, and they were clinging on. So yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that, because when you're chasing the game, and the view up here was very much that they were playing from time with still half an hour to go, looking to stop the game, make it disjointed. How do you avoid that becoming a frustration to you and concentrating on the job that you've got to do?
Well, we're all experienced enough to know that every team that's come here this season has done the same thing, haven't they? They take 2 minutes to get the ball back in play from goal kicks. It's just something that we've grown used to, but, it's pointless the referees coming in pre-season and saying, we're going to clamp down on this, this and this, and they let the same thing go every single week. So for us, we're frustrated, and listen, it's what teams are going to do at Bramall, and they know once we get momentum, once we get the crowds behind us, we can really push on and get that momentum and keep building, not letting the ball come out their half, keep turning them round. And second half, genuinely felt like there was one team going to win it and one team hanging on and happy to get out of here with a point. Well,
you certainly did turn it around, and I guess the spirit of the team was encapsulated no better in one person than in Adam Davis. Obviously, it felt dreadful for the opening goal 3 minutes in, but 3 minutes from time, it makes the penalty save, and you very nearly win it from there.
Yeah, brilliant for Davo. Obviously, he's waited a long time for his opportunity. Wes obviously made the mistake against Blackpool and got the red card, so Davo's been waiting. He's back from injury, and he's a great character to have around the dressing room anyway, so he stepped up. And as you say, he'll be absolutely delighted with that, as we are. He stepped up and saved the penalty and got us a point in the end. And as you say, we could have nicked it going the other way with a minute to go or something. So yeah, it'll be, as we all are, we're all buzzing that he saved the penalty.
For the likes of you and Billy Sharp, some of the experienced veterans of this team, how's the blood pressure? Can it keep enduring games like this?
Yeah, you've got to keep your head and just keep ticking away. We started the season brightly. We picked up a lot of wins. We've had a difficult spell now, but that's when your big players and big characters step up, and we've got to lead the way. We've got to lead by example and keep pushing. The injury record's well documented. I think everybody knows that. It's not an excuse, it's a fact. If we had our strongest team out there every week, I don't think there'd be many live with us. We haven't been able to do that, but hopefully, after the winter break, we can get everybody back and really push on and finish strongly before the World Cup and then kick on afterwards.
And at the end of the day, it's another point gained, I guess.
It is, yeah. Obviously, with them missing a penalty, it's a point gained, but I still think we should win it at the end, to be honest, and a little bit frustrated that we didn't because of the second half and the way we went about it, the way we stuck at it, the way we played, the spirit, everything. We were pushing as much as we could to try and get the winner, and unfortunately the keeper made a decent save at the end.
Well done today.
Thank you.
So Ollie Norwood managing to cut a composed, if not really relaxed figure. I guess it goes back to what you chaps were saying, is you've got to let the chaos around you go to one side and focus on the job at hand. And by and large in the second half, the Blades did that.
Yeah, calm heads really. I think it's a case of fire and ice. You have in the heat of the battle, you know how to stand up for yourself, but then when it becomes a situation where you've got to take a step back and think, right, okay, what does the landscape look like, so.
And he's the type of player who is able to do that, isn't he?
Sorry, because he's really small. Isn't he? Don't want to be
Richard unfairly called him a veteran, but he's
I was looking for a kind term. He's an experienced head.
He's experienced enough to. I call him the quarterback. He sits in the middle and he directs the team. He's the one who can control it. Although, to be fair, he's making more tackles this season, last season, than he's ever done in his career. So he's putting himself out about a bit more. But he's the cool, calm head and can direct operations. And I thought it was a good second half performance from United. Just what we need to do. We built the momentum up at the right time, and we got the goals at the right time as well. We got back in the game, with a good chunk of time left to play. I think Njayi made a massive difference when he come on. I think he's booked his place in the team for the next few games. And we thoroughly deserved a point at the end of the day. Thoroughly deserved, if not all three.
Two things that came out of that chat with Ollie Norwood for me there. One is it's going to be a long season unless the players can get their head around the fact that referees aren't going to necessarily officiate the game in the way they've been led to believe, because we've commented up here that time and time again the opposition teams come to Bramall Lane and they'll try and make it a fractious game, stop, start, disrupt it. That's going to happen. Somehow we've got to get our heads around that and focus on what we do best.
I think the Norwich side took it to extremes this afternoon. I mean, it was ridiculous, especially in the second half. I mean, you won't get teams as blatant as that, to be fair. And obviously they're 2-0 up, 2-1 up. They're going to stretch it out. All teams time waste to a certain extent. If we're 2-0 up, I don't expect any of our fullbacks to be racing to get the ball, get it back into play. You do take your time. You do try and run down the clock. But there's a difference between running down the clock professionally and being unprofessional and throwing yourself onto the floor without any kind of contact at all. That's where the manager should step in and say, do you know what, lads, we're better than that. You know what I mean? Just knock it on the head.
The second thing that came out of the chat with Ollie to me, Brian, was pretty much what you said. Ollie McBurney's gone into the dressing room there, delighted to have got the equaliser, absolutely frustrated and furious that he hasn't got the winner.
Yeah, I mean, as a forward, he will look back to that and he'll be gutted. He'll be playing that over and over in his head. And it's like I said, it's easy from up here, and I've been in that situation. I've scored goals like that. I've also been in a situation where I've made the wrong decisions and not scored. So nobody does that on purpose. He's in a rich vein of form now, and he will have been thinking, well, that's an opportunity for me to cement my confidence, and he's missed out on that.
I think what we can say, chaps, is if that second half performance is a sign of things to come, we don't have a lot to be worried about with this team.
No, we've got, as we said pre-game, we've got good quality players in our team and in our squad, and even that injury hit side that we put out today, with a few not first team players like McAtee, some of the others, playing. Billy Sharp's not first pick, is he, to be honest? Brewster's not first choice striker. So even with our second choice team out in some positions, still good enough to push on and take a very good Norwich side, to right to the limit.
Cause to be optimistic, Brian?
Absolutely. It's a long season, and we said it a few weeks ago. I think we've got one of the best squads in the division. I think that we've got, we can adapt to different scenarios. So it's about managing those players, and it's about the players managing themselves, realising what is at stake. We can't go through the season and have stupid suspensions, like, with the goalkeeper, for example, Ollie McBurney. We have to cut those things out because they will hurt you. If you think that, the goalkeeper's come in and had to, he's made his debut and he's the first goal was a shocker from his point of view. He's made up for it, but that doesn't happen if Wes doesn't end up, putting his handbag down. You know what I mean? Well, I think it was more than that, but yeah, you know what I mean. You understand what I'm saying. Yeah. The players have to realise what's at stake. They're not kids. And in terms of acting in a mature way, that's what's going to get us to the end of the season. That's how players grow into, a promotion campaign, for example.
Absolutely. Kevin Gage, Brian Deane, thanks for your company as always. It's been a thoroughly entertaining afternoon here at Bramall Lane. Plenty of fireworks, 4 goals, and the points shared. We're hoping for more of the same entertainment tomorrow afternoon when Sheffield United's women are in action. We're taking on the newly promoted Southampton side. Sheffield United's women joint top scorers in their division as well through 6 games. That should be an entertaining match. And then for the men, the games keep coming thick and fast. Next Saturday lunchtime, it's a trip to West Bromwich Albion. 12:30 kickoff. SUTV Live is on air from midday. Then it's to Bristol City a week on Tuesday, the 1st of November. 7:45 kickoff for that one, before we're back here at Bramall Lane for the visit of high-flying Burnley, who came from behind to win at Sunderland this afternoon. Another lunchtime kickoff there, 12:30 for that one. But for this afternoon from Bramall Lane, we've had plenty of excitement, plenty of drama. and we've had 4 goals as well. Time to relax.